All right, this will be a longer video on these jacks. Nowadays, people are really familiar with the Born-Traeger jacks, the self-contained. You know, it's literally just a ram with a pumper on it. These are an older set of jacks. These are Silvey tree savers. I believe these are the small rams. Each ram, I think, is, I don't know, 25 ton, something like that. And so essentially it's the same. This is the oil reservoir, and this arm is what pumps the oil from this reservoir into the jacks via hose. So things that I like about these, the Born-Traeger self-contains are really nice. They're an awesome piece of gear. It's just small, compact, they jack very quick. These are a little slower, heavier, and as you can see, it's just a much more intensive setup. But I like that, you know, if you blow something, it's pretty easy to repair these. It's just replace a hose, replace a fitting, call it good. But they also have these valves here. So when you're jacking, you have these up, you can say this says lock. So essentially what happens is that it's a little safety feature. You have them on lock, and if, say, a hose blows or you spring a leak somewhere, this jack is going to hold its pressure. It's not going to deflate and take away all the progress that you've made, or you won't lose the tree over backwards, which is really, really nice. So we're just going to kind of go through the jack setup here on this cedar and get her on over. So what I've done there is I've roughed in my back cut. I got my back cut to, you know, 60, 70% of where I would like to finish. You don't cut that back cut all the way. That way you leave yourself a little bit of wiggle room when you're doing your face cut. So I roughed in that back cut. It's in roughly where I would like it to be, and then I cut my jack seat. So you saw me break my tape out. I measured. I know how tall these rams are, so I measured that height, and then I cut out a jack seat to place these jacks. And now you want to get it under substantial wood. So like on the bottom here, not a big deal. We have this root flare, it goes down, so you know there's wood under it the entire way. But if that flare is still tapering up, what you might run into is that where you place your jack, there's not going to be a whole lot of wood above it. So you want to get yourself in substantial wood, something that's going to be able to withstand the 50-aught tons that we're going to be putting on this tree. So moving on, got the jacks in. Next thing I like to do, I like to take my hose and you run your connections. You just get it all fitted in. I have to use two hands here. So one end goes into the jacks, I have both my little valves on lock, and the rest of this hose, I don't know, 10 feet of hose. The rest of this hose comes up and connects to your jack. See, there you go. Connects to the jack. And the hose runs to the rams. So if you notice, on this particular set of jacks, this says this end downhill. I assume that's because the pickup that picks up the oil when you're pumping this is down on this end. So you want all your fluid down here so you can pump it. Make sure that's in the right position. You want that threaded in. And there's our gauge. Then you start giving her some pumps. You're gonna pump until they make contact. And once they make contact, you will see when pressure starts to pick up. All right, so pressure's building. This tree leans back pretty hard, so I'm up to, what is that, 2,500 PSI. Take it up a little bit more. Make sure we are nice and secure. There we go. I think that's fine, right? Yeah, right there. Now at this point, I'm all set up. My jacks are in. Now it's time for me to do my face cut. Now you want to reference where you're at with your back cut, because obviously while you're doing your face cut, you don't want to cut off your far side or whatever. So make sure you know where you're at while you're doing your face cut. So now's a really good time to stop. I've got your face cut out. Now's a good time to stop. Come back to your jack and take a look at your gauge. You want to note where you were when you first started pumping on that, when you quit pumping. If you get your face cut out and you see that that needle has dropped, that means you're good. You've got this tree under control. You've already started some forward progress. And now you can just whittle in the rest of your back cut and pump her on over. But our needle has not moved much. I think it had gone down just a smidge. So I'm comfortable. I may give it one pump just because it makes me feel good. But I'm comfortable just to finish up my back cut. One pump. Oh, make me feel good. Okay. Finish up that back cut and then we'll pump her on over. What I like to do on these bigger trees, and I have a smaller bar, I like to go and cut up that far side first. That way I don't have to go back over there and revisit that far side. I'm gonna cut up this far side first, and then I'm gonna come back, finish up over here, and then we'll pump her over. Paying attention. As I was finishing up that side, I know we have control of this tree because I saw it starting to lift, because we already have 50 tons of pressure on it. So I already started to lift. So now I'm real comfortable to really finish off this side and then just pump it over. Oh, see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Our needle went down just a little bit. That tells me we're good. We've got this tree, we are under control. Now we just pump her the rest of the way over. Set you back up. Now this is where those born trigger jacks really shine. They pump fast. Each pump of the jack moves more, or each pump of the handle moves more of the ramp. So these are a little slower. And we've got a long ways to jack. I can feel the pressure easing up. Means we're getting close. Cedar's gonna let out a big old pop. And I'm sure it's gonna go on over. You might fall down. We've got all kinds of limbs right over our head, so. There she goes. So the tree's over. Our gauge is down to 0. Tree is on the ground. So your next step, come over, you turn these valves, and that's going to let the fluid in the rams travel down the hose back into the reservoir. After I hit this one, unthread this. I don't know if you can see it, but those rams are coming down. And that is the down and dirty on how you use the Silvey double ram backpack tree savers. Tree saver. So I know somebody's gonna bring this up. As the tree goes over, you can see I have no holding wood in the middle, just my 2 corner posts. In a lot of jacking scenarios, I like to take this heartwood out, and because I'm running a 32-inch bar on that saw, and because I was confident that my saw, if I cut through the heartwood on the back side, was not going to reach over there and cut off that end. So on this side, you'll see I went in a little deep during that back cut, and that was to get that heartwood out. As you can see, this heartwood was rotten anyways, so it was hardly there. But what that does, it allows me to jack this over a little more efficiently, mainly because there's not that holding wood there that you're trying to work against. All you need are your two corners. You can see straight line, corner to corner, is right where this tree went. These are still your directional bits of your holding wood. This in here in the middle doesn't really mean anything as far as direction. That's just strength. And someone said a really good thing for this. Imagine you're holding a bunch of toothpicks or a bunch of pencils and you're trying to break those. We'll take all of those pencils or toothpicks out of the middle and try it again. It's going to be a hell of a lot easier breaking that, getting that to hinge over instead of fighting all that wood. So, figured I'd offer that explanation before somebody asked me about it.